So this is a time to be sensitive to this, and indeed, what is our avoda? So there's an intriguing passage in the Talmud Yerushalmi. The Talmud Yerushalmi says, every generation in which the Beit HaMikdash is not rebuilt is as guilty as the generation in which the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. Now that's a very interesting way of looking at it, because without the Yerushalmi, what I might have said is this. The past generations, whether it's the Mikdash Rishon or the Mikdash Sheni, they had real bad sins, they lost the Beit HaMikdash. We're not as bad as them. We just don't have the merit to get it back. The Yerushalmi says no. If we weren't guilty of the same Aveirot that they had, we would have it back. To put it differently, the Beit HaMikdash Chorban was not a past event. Rather, every single day it is not rebuilt. It is as if it's there and it's being destroyed. It is as if the Beit HaMikdash is being burnt right in front of our eyes at this very, very moment. So what is our job? Our job is to rebuild the Beit HaMikdash. Now, what does it mean to rebuild the Beit HaMikdash? Well, if you look in the Rambam, you actually see there's a positive commandment in the Torah called building a house for God. This is based on the pasuk in Parshas Truma, which is by the Mishkan. V'yasu li mikdash, make for me a temple, make for me a sanctuary. V'shachanti b'tocham, so I will dwell in their midst. So there is a mitzvah d'oraisa called binyan Beis HaMikdash. So the question we then ask is, so why don't we actively build the Beis HaMikdash? As you know, there is the Temple Mount group that basically says we aggressively and proactively have to go on the Temple Mount, get rid of those mosques, etc., start building the temple. Well, there is a source for their position, although who knows what, again, people say, well, what are you talking? Are you talking about causing a nuclear war from Iran by doing something like that? So they say, bitachon. What do you mean? You're doing God's will? Then miracles are going to happen. No? Halachically, we say you don't rely on miracles. You have to act in a rational manner. But there are two technical halachic reasons why we do not actively try to build the Beit HaMikdash. Reason number one is the Shita of Rashi, that the third Beit HaMikdash is not going to be built by human hands at all. The third Beit HaMikdash is going to come down min hashamayim, and therefore, by definition, there is no role for human beings in the actual construction of the Mikdash. That is Rashi's opinion, which is based on Midrashim. The other opinion is that of the Rambam, that says that the building of the Beit HaMikdash shall be done by human hands, but it is the job of the Melech HaMashiach, who is supposed to build the Beit HaMikdash. So until the revelation of Mashiach, we are not supposed to act. Now, in defense of the Temple Mount, they follow a third view of the Yerushalmi that says, build the Mikdash, and that brings Mashiach. But, so that is a view, that is certainly a view, but nonetheless, lahalacha, we follow Rashi's view, which is why we don't physically build a Beit HaMikdash. But the question then becomes, if we don't physically build a Beit HaMikdash, how are we fulfilling the Torah's commandments? V'yasu li mikdash. And the answer is, we build the Beit HaMikdash by building a sanctuary for God in our heart and in our soul. Remember what the pasuk says. The pasuk says, make for me a mikdash so I will dwell in their midst. And Chazal say, it does not say Hashem dwells in the temple, but rather the Beit HaMikdash is a symbol of the Shekhinah that is within the heart and soul of the Jewish people. Now, the same way that you can read it, make for me a temple and I will dwell in your midst, you can read the pasuk in reverse. When I dwell in your midst, you will have a temple. Meaning to say, we build the Beit HaMikdash by making our heart and our soul a place where God's presence resides. And every time we do that, we are adding a brick to the celestial Beit HaMikdash in Shomayim, and that is the one that's going to come down. So we are building a Beit HaMikdash. when we try to make our heart and our soul a repository for the Shekhinah.